In the online business alone, we've done over 3 million in online sales. When the pandemic hit, obviously it became difficult for emerging brands to really hit retail. And so that's when we doubled down online. We went on Amazon. We became the number one selling donut on Amazon. I mean, this business is going to double and triple and really exponentially grow over the next few years. Just recently, we got a deal with 7-Eleven where now we're going to be launching in over 1,000 stores this summer. We're going nationwide in Vitamin Shop and several other retailers. And then we were fortunate enough to get some angel investors, including Patrick Schwarzenegger. To be honest with you, the sky's the limit with a brand like this. I think being Elite Sweets, we were always open-minded in that we're not just a donut company. We're really focused on building a brand around the donut today, but I think there's a lot of opportunity for us to, generate 100 million in revenue plus.
Amin, again, I want to thank you for being here. Can you get started by telling us about your background and why you decided to start the company?
Yeah, definitely. At Elite Sweets, we're the makers of the Elite Donut, which is the world's first better for you donut. So all of our donuts are protein packed, low sugar, keto friendly, gluten free. And the reason why I started this company was because going back to my days in high school, I actually come from a family with diabetes and obesity, and I was on the verge of it myself. At 16 years old, I weighed 340 pounds. Like I said, I was on the path to diabetes and obesity. And really, after kind of seeing the negative effects of these diseases firsthand, I knew that wasn't the life I wanted to live. And so that's when I adopted a high protein keto lifestyle. And in just over a year, I actually lost 140 pounds. But it was during that experience where I was always looking for better for you options. I was always looking for functional foods. So high protein, low sugar, keto products. And so that's really why I started this company there wasn't a lot of better for you options. There wasn't a bunch of stuff that tasted good. And I think we just really saw the opportunity in the white space with this, and being that everyone loves donuts. And, that's how we got started. We were just eating a bunch of donuts and thought, like, what if there was a better for you version one day?
Is there any other reason behind the donut? Obviously, I love donuts as well. You said everybody kind of loves donuts, but what was the process of selecting the donut as your one primary go-to-market product?
Yeah, I mean, to be 100% honest with you, it really started with as college students, broke college students, late at nights, we always had kind of like the munchies looking for something to eat. And we found ourselves at the local donut shop 3 to 4 times a week. It was just something that was affordable on our budget. And we knew it wasn't good for us, but it was open late at nights and it tastes good. We just literally, after eating donuts all the time, just kind of thought, like, wow, what if there was a better for you version? When I was a student at the University of Texas, I was working with the Texas football team where, we were always surrounded by highly functional products. So like protein bars, shakes, cookies, brownies, all these other things. And, I always gravitated towards the sweets, but there was never a donut. And so we just thought, if there's a better for you cookie and brownie, like, why not a donut? And so that's how it started. We just really wanted to lead with innovation and create a product that hadn't been done before. And being naive college students, we thought, why not? And we went for it.
So how long have you been working on this for?
So we started back in 2017 is when I graduated college. So I literally started, this is my first full-time job out of college. So the first couple of years was more like ideation phase for us, kind of really learning business, dialing in the product a little bit. It took us some time to raise some capital. We did like pitch competitions and accelerator to get our initial capital, which ultimately we used to reformulate the product. And once we reformulated the product, then we knew we had a product we could kind of work with. When we first started, my brother was actually making it out of the apartment kitchen, no culinary experience or background. Quite frankly, the product wasn't good. We knew if we were going to take the brand to the next level, we would need to find someone who could really make a good product for us if we were going to stand out. And yeah.
So you've been working on this product for a few years now. Can you tell us about some of your biggest successes so far?
Yeah, definitely. I think for us, the biggest successes for us was once the first time we raised capital, right out of college, never really worked with a startup, not necessarily entrepreneurial or having started a business before. So there's a huge learning curve being a first time entrepreneur. And I think the first time we were successfully able to raise capital was through a pitch competition. We actually got to compete in what was called the WeWork Creator Awards at the time. Adam Newman, who was the former CEO, he was hosting pitch competitions. And, long story short, we ended up in the final round. We competed and we raised our first couple $100,000 through that pitch competition. That's what really helped get us started. I would say that's kind of like in the early days, that was the inflection point, because from there we were able to hire a product developer, improve the product, and really get the product to a point where we thought it was sellable and people would like it. And from there, it just kind of snowballed. Obviously, we really hit the ground running, and did a lot of like boots on the ground and early stage non-scalable stuff. I think that's kind of the mantra of startups: do things that don't scale to get started. And so that's what we did. Was we just went to a lot of local gyms, nutrition shops, got some traction, started selling the product online. I think the one thing about online businesses that's really important is that there's no barrier to entry. If I want to go sell in Walmart tomorrow, it's not as easy as it sounds. There's buyers, there's distributors, a lot of middlemen that if you don't have those connections, relationships, like you're not just going to get your product on shelf tomorrow. And even if they do take your product, it might take a year to get your product on shelf. And so I think for us, just starting online and really doubling down online when the pandemic hit, obviously it became difficult for emerging brands to really hit retail. And so that's when we doubled down online. We went on Amazon. We became the number one selling donut on Amazon. And it was those little wins that really just kept compounding that helped build our confidence and put us in a position where, we could advance the business, take us to the next level, raise some capital. And more recently, we did a large reformulation with our product. So our initial donut when we first started was frozen, which it was a great product, but it limited distribution. And our strategy and our go to market was always focused on retail distribution. We wanted to sell the protein bars, protein cookies, things like that. And being a frozen product, you're not going to make it on shelf next to those guys. And so, actually, about 3 months ago, we reformulated our product to be shelf stable, and I think that was kind of our biggest win. We knew since day one we needed to be shelf stable, but it just took so much longer to kind of get to that point where we could have the capital, have the time, the resources to do that. And that was an 18-month process alone, just reformulating these donuts. And so, to me, that's the biggest win, because now we can put ourselves in retail. And just recently we got a deal with 7-Eleven where now we're going to be launching in over 1,000 stores this summer. We're going nationwide in Vitamin Shop and several other retailers. And so, after finally getting to the point where we want it to be, which is a shelf stable product, we already have thousands of counts lined up for our launch in just months. And so that's been the biggest thing, and we're super excited about it. And that's kind of where all our focus, time, and attention is right now. But it was just a bunch of these little small wins that just kept compounding for us that got us to this point.
So I know you have a couple big time influencers and investors helping Elite Sweets out. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, we've been very fortunate to partner with some great people. Some of our investors include, City Capital, Mondelez, Constellation, obviously Techstars, and some other accelerators that participated. And then we were fortunate enough to get some angel investors, including Patrick Schwarzenegger, which, by the way, you look exactly like him. So it's actually really funny. Obviously, Arnold, being Arnold's son, they're big in the fitness community, have a, you know, huge influence when it comes to nutrition and fitness. So we're super excited to get aligned with them. And what Patrick and Maria and Arnold and all of them have done is just incredible in terms of, just literally their influence and impact that they've had on, making this world a healthier place. So super excited to have people like that on the cap table and support the mission and brand and the vision that we have for Elite Sweets. And yeah, I'm glad you were able to ask that.
I'm really curious though, what's the transition been like from prioritizing digital marketplaces to now trying to get into retail locations?
Yeah, I think the biggest transition for us is really just prioritizing kind of retail first. I think as a food and beverage brand, most consumers shop for those things in store. And so I think for us, we always knew exponential growth was going to come once we hit retail, because our purchase is really more of an impulse thing. When you buy snacks, you don't order a bag of chips and wait 7 days to get your bag of chips. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where if you're hungry, you go get it. If you're thirsty, you go grab a drink. And I think for us, that's kind of the biggest thing is like getting the product ready for retail from a branding standpoint, a manufacturing standpoint, making sure you have enough product to support these retailers, building out your distributor network relationship, having the brokers or sales team to get it there. Whereas like online's pretty, it's it's really, it's like I said, there's no barrier to entry, but it's also easy to manage. It's, put the product online, someone orders, you pick and pack and you ship it. So it's a pretty simple business model, whereas retail becomes a lot more sophisticated. And there's a lot of different things from operational and standpoint that you operational supply chain standpoint that you have to prepare for. And so I think that that's kind of the biggest thing. But that's what where we always wanted to be, and we're just super excited to finally see our product on shelves, because it's cool being the number one selling donut online, but just seeing people interact with your product in person, being able to go grab it off shelf, is just the coolest feeling in the world.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Do you have any of the product with you? Like, what are people seeing in the stores?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So here I got the birthday cake donuts. So in retail, it would look just like this. This is a six pack of it. This is the box that would come in. You'd open the box, and then you'd get an individual donut that would look like this. So we sell it individually to our consumers, and I think that's another big thing is, like, in retail you're able to buy one, whereas online you have to buy a whole six pack of donuts. And so being able to buy an individual unit like this, I think that's really where there's a lot of opportunity to drive trial, because consumers who've never tried our product, you can buy one donut without having to buy the whole case. And then I got my personal favorite here, which is our maple donuts. So we got the six pack of maple here, and then this is what the single would look like. So in store, you'd buy this, and yeah, all of our donuts are individually packaged, pre-glazed. They're made ready to eat for your convenience. So we really wanted to hit on that grab and go and convenience expectation that consumers have with products like this.
Genius. It looks delicious. I'm very excited to try. So you mentioned a couple of the retailers that you're located in. Can you just list all of them so that our audience can know where they can find it?
Yeah, so right now we sell first, I guess mostly online still, because we're still working on our rollout. So online at elitedonut.com. We sell on Amazon. We'll be launching in July. So not quite yet, but we'll be launching in July in 7-Eleven and over 1,000 stores. We'll be launching in Vitamin Shop this September and nationwide. So just about 700 stores. And then we're in a bunch of random like gyms, nutrition shops in the New York area, bodegas. So our product is distributed really kind of everywhere. There's a lot of like independent accounts. But the goal is obviously to get the product sold everywhere nationwide and really make the product as available for consumers as possible. And that's what we're focused on over the next couple of years, is building out our distribution network so our product is as convenient as water to find.
That's great. Can you tell me a little bit about some of the obstacles that you've had to overcome throughout the process?
Yeah, I mean, where do I start, right? I think to kind of kick things off, the first thing is, being a first time entrepreneur, the learning curve is so wide. You just don't know what you don't know, and so it took us a while to really figure things out, and take the brand to the next level. Like I said, I started this out of college, no food and beverage background, no entrepreneurship experience, so we had really self taught and had to teach ourselves like every component from manufacturing to operations, supply chain, logistics, retail, online business, all this kind of stuff. And so I think for us, that really helped kind of get us to the point where we're at today. And in the early days, it was tough to fundraise because unless you have friends or family who have the money and can support something like this, fundraising is a very challenging thing for first time entrepreneurs. That's a difficult thing, and really the having the right product for market. We were able to sell our product online, but like I said, the product wasn't ready for retail, and so having to reformulate the product, and then it's like, if you don't have culinary experience, you're not a food scientist, R&D is no easy task. And so there's been a lot of challenges, but I think the two biggest things was really kind of the fundraising side of things, because you need capital to start a food and beverage business. It's very capital intensive, and then ultimately getting the right product for market, and then ultimately finding product market fit. So for us, it was getting a product shelf stable, which we knew 6 years ago we wanted to do, but it just takes time to kind of get there. It takes money. It takes a lot of these things to get where you want to be. And now we're finally hitting that point of inflection, and we're just super excited for what's ahead.
And what influence has Techstars had on that experience?
Yeah, I think Techstars really came at the perfect time for us because um, when, like I've alluded to this a few times now, but we just launched about 3 months ago, which is literally, that was the exact time we got into Techstars. And so it really helped because it's kind of going back to day one and really kind of utilizing all the resources, all the things, and all the knowledge of the mentors and everything that comes with that to just kind of get yourself back in that mindset of like, okay, we're going to do this again because our approach is like we're starting our business over again with the new product. Yeah, we have a little bit of sales history and some data, but it's really kind of starting over again. And so that's why I think Techstars is so impactful because it was day one for us again, and to really have that to be pushed and to have the kind of the course and experience that we got with Techstars really helped accelerate our growth in the early days again and get us to the point where it's like now we're really ready for um, acceleration and growth after kind of that incubation period. And so really just from the team at the Techstars team to the mentors has just been impactful from introductions to investors, utilizing resources, people who've been in the space. It really couldn't have came at a more perfect time for us.
That's awesome. I'm so glad to hear that. And congratulations on completing the program and going through the demo day experience. That's a huge accomplishment. And welcome to the Techstars family. You're here for life. So I hope you continue to leverage us. Um, but yeah, it's also great to hear. I'm so happy that you've been able to see the growth and the tangible successes, especially in the more recent months. I'm
Mhm.
curious, what are your sales like right now? And in all honesty, how big do you think this thing can get?
Yeah. So to date, just in the online business alone, we've done over 3 million in online sales, and and now really that was just all online. The real growth kicker for us is getting into retail. And so as we start realizing some of our retail success and the realizing the revenue that's going to come with it in the coming months, I mean, this business is going to double and triple and really exponentially grow over the next few years. And how big do I think it can get? I mean, to be honest with you, the sky's the limit with a brand like this. I think being Elite Sweets, we were always open minded in that we're not just a donut company. We can launch a whole line of sweet, no pun intended there, of products of better for you portfolio from protein packed, low sugar, keto sweets. And so we're really focused on building the brand around the donut today, but I think there's a lot of opportunity for us to, generate 100 million in revenue plus. And I think our ultimate goal is a strategic exit, whether it be, I'm just going to throw out some names, but like a Mondelez, a Bimbo, Kellogg's, Mars, some of these big food conglomerates, a lot of these bigger guys innovate through acquisition, to start your own company, do R&D, and really build a brand. It's time consuming, it's expensive, and it's a lot easier for them to acquire an established brand who has, brand presence, recognition, fans, and that's how these guys innovate. And I think, if we were able to successfully exit to something like that, strategic or private equity or something, it's really those guys that take the brand to the next level. We build it up 100 million plus. They can take it to that $1 billion level because they have the resources, they have the team, they have the capability to really scale it up. And I want this brand to live way beyond me. I think it's cool what we've built and what we've accomplished, but I know this brand is way bigger than me and the founding team. It's really about helping others and creating this world of better for you options. And so our whole thing at Elite Speeds is we want to help people live an active and healthy lifestyle and really support them through nutrition, which is better for you products. And so sky's the limit. I think it can be $1 billion brand, and that's what we're shooting for.
That's awesome to hear. I absolutely love the confidence. And I would have it if I were you as well. 3 million in sales, that's already so impressive. So, again, just a huge kudos to you and the team at Elite Suites. I want to ask one more question. Um, on a
Yeah.
grander scale, and I like how you mentioned, the strategic exit and potentially, the acquisition from one of these bigger brands. What's your take on the future of better for you food options? Because I think right now we're clearly seeing that there's a huge market for it, but it's still in its very early stages. Where do you see it going in the next 5 to 10 years?
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I think this is a growing category and it's continuing to compound and grow exponentially because as consumers become more educated and health conscious and understand nutrition, which there's been a lot of that over the last few years and it's continuing to rapidly grow, it's going to continue to lead to more companies creating innovative products like, the Elite Donut. There's going to be a lot more options and this category is just going to continue to explode. And so I think the future of food is bright. From all these food technology companies to these innovative brands creating these amazing products. It's literally the future of food, to say the least. And so I think there's always going to be kind of these trends that come and go. I think there's always been like diet fads, things like that. But there's always going to be these trends that are here to stay. I think low sugar is one of those categories that's never going to go away. Keto, maybe it's not called keto, but people are still always going to be conscious of carbs. There's always going to be a need for functional foods. High protein. When I went through my own weight loss journey, that was the number one consideration for me is eating high protein because there's actually functionality and benefits behind it, but also it keeps you full longer. It's just good for you. No one ever tells you not to eat protein. And so I think that's really where the future of food is just continuing to create these better for you options that are more functional and are really focused on our nutrition and our health moving forward.
Yeah, I'm really excited for the high protein cupcake. I would really like to have that at my next birthday party. Uh, but that's awesome. Thanks a ton, Amin. This has been a pleasure talking to you. And I guess we should give a quick shout out to National Donut Day coming up.
So we'll be doing some awesome specials on National Donut Day. But if you're gonna have a donut, you might as well have one that's better for you. So uh, we love National Donut Day. We have our little joke in the industry that we're the only food that gets two national holidays. There's actually two National Donut Days, which is funny. So shout out to National Donut Day and hope you guys have an elite donut in your hand right now.
Thanks everyone for tuning in today. If you enjoyed this episode and want to hear more stories from the Techstars Network, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out our other social media. If you're a founder looking to 10x your startup, do not hesitate to visit our website to apply to a program today. And most importantly, always remember, give first.